So thanks for watching the videos. I've been publishing 2 for a while because it was easier in the winter, but as soon as this season gets going, it's going to be tough to find time to do everything. So we'll go back to publishing just 1 a week. And the beginner video tutorials, there's 10 of them. So if you're a beginner, watch number 1 right through number 10, and I would say gap them about 2 weeks apart. So you learn each video before you move to the next step, and then after 20 weeks, you should be able to do a craft there. Good luck! Okay, so we did a few experiments which are showing up in my glazing video for beginners, but we'll get a preview here. Although I'm not sure which video will be released first. I'm trying to release the beginner videos every 2 weeks. This is purple, and it's my folk art white with oatmeal over the top of that. So purple, then with folk art white poured that way, and then with oatmeal poured that way. Same on this side, and then on the inside pouring from both directions like that, and then the folk art white and then the oatmeal. So that's an experiment. I haven't done that one before. I'm not totally enthralled by it, but it's different. Since I have mugs in similar colors, that might make a nice piece with a display of some mugs. Here are, is this a refire? No, I think I just did this in the beginner video too. Black, variegated blue, and mouse grey. So I've done these in mugs before. So that's a pretty nice combination. It sort of has a nighttime landscape, ocean kind of thing, and then nighttime sort of scene. The same with this one, a different shaped ball. These are part of the balls that I've done. 75 balls for my local firehouse for a fundraiser. We're doing soup and a bread roll plus a bowl. I'm not sure what they're charging, $25 to $30 per person, and they get a free bowl out of it, plus the soup and a nice evening's entertainment at the firehouse. Here's the bowls to match the other ones, and these turned out much nicer. I like that a lot. And all that, so that's very nice. Folk art white, oatmeal over the top of the purple. That's a nice color in between where the folk art white overlaps the purple. So there's 4 of those, because I do things in sets. Look at all the debris. That fell out of the lid, I guess, when I opened the lid. Pour it out. I thought it was part of the speckles that's naturally in the clay, but that's nice. Same with this one. There should be a 4th one. Nope, yeah, there should be a 4th one of these. Those are very nice. Here's a nice looking little cup. I don't make that shape very often, but I think I did that in the beginner videos as well. I'm saving all the pieces to do a display that we do in the beginner videos to show what you can put a little farmer's market table together or something for pottery. And another one to match those colors too. So this glaze turned out very nice. Okay, this level is total experiment. So in my beginner glazing video, if you haven't watched it, I show how I did these, because it's supposedly for people who don't have gallons of glaze, just buying glaze in pints, and what you can do to actually glaze in different ways to get some interesting varying results. This I think was apple green, variegated blue, and purple. Wow, nice outside. And this is just, if you had like 3 pints of glaze, 3 different pints, and how you can glaze a big piece just using your little pints of glaze, using a sponge. But that is very nice. I think that's going to sell very quick. Oh, and there's the little sponge stamping we did. If you watch that beginner glazing video, that's the little texture sponge that I had with a pattern in it. And it showed up a little bit. This was poured glaze over the outside. So Basically, that's if you just have a pint, you have a bowl, and you pour the bowl, you hold the bowl upside down, pour the glaze all the way around. So you don't need a lot of glaze to do that. And this is just stamping or brushing. I can't remember which one I did here. I think this was a sponging, but it basically shows if you don't have much glaze, you can glaze a big bowl. And I did some dots on it. Remember, if you watch that video, with sponges. So these dots show up a little bit. That one showed up a lot, but there were like little oatmeal dots put over it to give it a little bit more interest. And underneath here, we had a lot of slip decoration, which shows up in places just at the edge there. You got a few dots just showing up in the piece, so it's adding depth to the glaze, but it isn't showing up too much, especially there. You've got some dots showing up, but there were lines and you can see them just about coming in there, so it adds a little bit extra into the depth of your glazing. But the purple covered it up completely, so when I go back and I do the other bowls, I had 8 or 9 of these. I'm going to decorate the others. I won't use the purple, and the green doesn't show up too much either. The blue is a little bit more. So there's some glazes that are opaque and some that are transparent. Next batch I do like this, I'm going to use the transparents. And here, maybe it's all about thickness with glazing too, because there's the green, and it showed the slip decoration up underneath as well. And the blue to a certain degree shows up too, but I think thin green will be okay for showing the slip that's underneath. But you can see how strong that slip line is down there. That one showed up pretty well. There's one faded in the blue a little bit there. There's another one coming down and up, and the dots show up. So we're experimenting with these to see what happens. They're just new ideas, and that one once again just has the straight blue on the outside. And this bowl, is it wobbling? No, it's stable. It's almost imperceptible, but there's a little warping on that bowl. Yeah, 2 sides lifted up a little bit. I wonder if that's to do with the slip that was put on that actually is pulling the bowl in a little bit. I don't know, but that's nice. An experiment. And then we have a lid for something, a little jar coming out somewhere. And then 2 more of these bowls you saw on the top shelf. So those are pretty with the blue inside. On the next layer down, do we have any pieces from that video? But we have the jar. Oh, very nice. What do we do here? Folk art white, oatmeal on the top, and regular apple green on the bottom, over speckled clay. And really showed up the chattering. So that's an excellent piece for the chattering there. And that is www.artisanpotterytools.com if you want to get some chattering tools. Best tools on the market for chattering. Oh, I didn't show it with the lid. There you go. Lid fits just nicely. What else do we have here? A lot of the same colors. Some nice big jugs. That'll go nicely for a milk and sugar. I can show you a photograph of these 2 together. If I can lift them both up together. There you go, milk and sugar. And there's a slightly smaller one, but it's a different color. But that's the purple folk art white and matte oatmeal as well. And then lots of the same colors here, but that's a nice elegant mug there. Nice purple folk art white oatmeal. These are supposed to be highlights, so I don't need to show you every piece, but same again. Oatmeal, folk art white, and apple green. And here we have the matte turquoise, variegated blue, and oatmeal. And this one is bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. and the rest of them are pretty much the same colors as all of these, so we can skip going through those. Okay, the next layer down are more of the bowls for the firehouse, and this has a sort of a flare to it. Maybe that's a little easier to hold, I'm not sure. There's a big run going down there. But apple green, oatmeal, and folk art white over speckle clay. Same again here. And there's another little thing. I wonder if that's from the tongs that I hold and it drips when you're glazing. So I'd have to watch that. But there's a nice one. Yeah, I think supporting your local firehouse is pretty good, since we had a lightning strike and they all turned up to save the building last year. So I've done this fundraiser for them twice before, and one time we had 125 balls sell. I don't take anything for them. I donate the whole lot to the firehouse, and they made about $5,000 in for their fundraiser from that soup bowl. We also do an auction, but this year we're going to do a raffle of artwork. There you go. And then this is the licorice that I showed you in my glazing video. It actually soaked in a bit too much. The oatmeal's over the licorice, and sometimes you end up with like a lizard scale effect. I think I needed to hold them in longer. Like, you get it a little bit there, but sometimes if you get the oatmeal much thicker, but then there's a risk of it peeling, so it's a little tricky application. And again here, oh, there's more of it there, but it ran too much, and I only do a 11-minute soak. It actually ran to the kiln shelf, and I'll have to sand that with sandpaper, but it's a little rough, but it's not sharp. Luckily I have these new fancy shelves that glaze doesn't stick to. But the bottom shelf is the same, but this one worked pretty nice with the lizard scales. It still ran more than I've seen it. If I underfire this firing down to cone 5.5, these would stand out a lot more. But that is a pretty good one anyway. And obviously it shows up better when the rim flares out. But there you got it. It runs a lot, you know, but the licorice glaze is a really nice black, shiny black glaze. Very nice to eat off that glaze. And this is just licorice and no oatmeal over it at all. And the others are all bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. So there's the chattering on them again. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Nice chattering comes through the bright blue there. The rest are all identical to that.
Good morning. We're going to unload a small kiln with earthenware pieces. Some are done with the sgraffito technique, and some are hand painted with underglazes. And I'll just get started. These are done on earthenware clay. You can see the color in the bottom. The mug has been layered with white and yellow slip, and then a black slip over top. And when it gets a little bit set up, we carve through it with various tools that take off the top layer of black and go into the yellow and white. This is one of Vaughn's crow mugs here. And this is also one of Vaughn's seascape mugs. So when he does water, he takes a lot of the black out and makes the lot of contrast between the boats, almost in silhouette. And this, of course, is one of mine. This is the cat and bird motif. So only a little bit of yellow showed up on this one. Sometimes I like to go down into the red clay to do some outlining, or go down and get some more details into the flowers. And let's see, the next two are the hand-painted mugs. This is one of the crow mugs. I did a video on these, painting these. There's two bird stencils, and then the foliage in the background. And similar technique, the horses are stenciled. I put layers of underglazes down after I put this horse stencils, and then go and paint details. Okay, so just do this. And take out the next layer. They're still kind of hot, so I may have to wait a little while before finishing.
Then push it down. There you go.
Okay, I'm going to continue unloading here. This is one of the hand-painted pieces. So all of these pieces that are painted with the underglaze have an undercoating of white slip over top of the red clay body. So before laying the horse stencils down, I paint with some extra white underglaze, put those stencils down, and while the stencil's still down, I paint the background. And another crow mug. So with these, there's a white slip painted everywhere on the mug. Then where I'm going to put the crow stencils down, there's black underglaze. The stencils go down, and then I work on the background colors. And this is the sgraffito technique. Only a little bit of the yellow is showing up in the sky areas. It's pretty much the white that's coming through. And this is one of Vaughn's. He's got more yellow coming through in these areas. It looks nice. When he does water, he takes out a lot more of the black so that there's a nice contrast between the boats and the water. It's another one with the sailboats. This is a cat and bird, no, cat and wetland motif on this one. The cat hiding behind the tree with the wetland behind. I like the way the yellow hung in there in the sky. It gives it sort of a sunrise or sunset effect. And the last one on this level is the cat family motif. These are always fun to do because I like the big shapes. Here. This is the gull overlooking the water from a rooftop. And this is a lighthouse. The boat's coming in. This is sort of based on Fort Point, which is near where we have our studio. There's kind of a strait that goes out from the river to the open ocean. And another one of the local docks. The wharfs and the boathouses. I always like these areas. And this is, what have we got here? Oh, this one I decided to play with a different image. It's a person. It's one of the sellers at the local market with a window behind and a cat sitting at the window with the ocean beyond. And this one here is the cat watching the bird bath in the garden. So there are 3 more painted mugs. The blackbirds, the crows. The background on these particular ones came out very soft and subtle. Some nice colors in there because the top layer sort of has a translucence to it. Same with this one, the layering is very evident in the background details and areas of color behind the birds. Another hand-painted one. And this is kind of based on Riverport, where there's the old boathouse buildings and sort of hills behind, boats coming in. Nice kind of blue sky day. I have some very subtly painted buildings that drop into the background here. I don't know if it's kind of hard to see them.
And this is just all large 12-inch tiles. We always hold our breath when we fire these, because every so often, for some strange reason, one might crack. But there's the first one. And I've got photos at the end of the video of these tiles before they were glazed, because these now have a shine to them because of the clear glaze. So they don't photograph well at this point. But this is all part of a mural. So I have a horizontal mural that's 4 feet wide and a vertical that's 4 feet tall by 12 inch. And then in the frames, they end up being a lot bigger, more like 5 feet high and 5 feet wide. This is also part of the horizontal. This is the end piece on the right hand side of the horizontal. This is also part of the horizontal, I think. Yep, this is part of the horizontal. So they're all 12-inch square, sgraffito carved through red clay, white clay, yellow clay, and then black on top. And that's part of the vertical. This one is the, or it could be the bottom, I can't remember. This is easy to remember. This is the very top of the vertical. This one is the left-hand side of the horizontal. This is where I want to build my kiln a lot lower in my next studio, because you have to reach down so far to get these pieces out. And that is the second from the top in the vertical mural. Okay, these ones belong to Jackie, and she's not here. It's very nice weather today. She's out for a bike ride. So her style is much more, it's a stylistic kind of approach to carving, in a sort of a semi-naive style, I would say you probably would call it, but a contemporary naive style. And she has an odd sense of perspective, and she always imagines herself floating or flying above the images that she does. That's why they always have, you can see the rooftops, of course. There you go. That's that one. And there's a cat with a very long body. There you go. That's either a herring gull or a seagull. But in the studio that we're putting together, the backhoe is still there. They hit iron rock, so it's slowed them down a lot. They've got to get a slightly bigger hammer in there to hammer through it. Maybe I should open a mine. but anyway, we can't sink the kiln into the floor. Got nixed on that one, because that makes the kiln part of the floor, and then you're spreading your heat into the floor, which is great for getting heat in the floor, but it'll take forever for the kiln to reach, apparently, because the heat's getting distributed. So you need air underneath your kiln to act as an extra insulator, which now will shrink it down from about a 6-inch height to maybe 2.5 inches. He said that would probably be okay to raise the kiln up just 2.5 inches from the floor. And then I'll build a 4-inch, 5-inch platform around the kiln on one side, so it's easier to load and unload. So we got a solution.
This morning I'm going to unload the pieces that will make a part of a multiple piece framed work. So the first ones that will come out of the kiln, which we'll show you now, are the looms, and they were made from slabs of, this is the 5/16, and painted with underglazes. I painted them with underglazes so that I could get the details of the birds just a little more accurate. You know, the red for the eye and the bird's markings. And then the rest of the pieces are the landscape areas that will go in the picture too. This will be some rocks, some rock and foliage. And when I get the piece all assembled onto a background, I'll show the finished piece. So this is done with different glazes, all the ones that we use for our work. And then I'm usually rubbing or scraping off the first layer so that I have colors that are retained within the deeper cuts and carvings, and a secondary layer goes on the top. And sometimes I even work into the second area with scratch marks and things that create more texture. Ooh, that's quite hot. And this is the area that will be the foreground of the piece. So you can see there's shells and rocks, sort of beach things, and some wildflowers coming out. So this is the foreground, and the loons will be in the water behind. But I'll show the whole piece when it's been assembled.
Okay, on the next layer down in this kiln, we have some of the usual functional work. This is 455 speckle clay from Pottery Supply House with folk art white, oatmeal, and my purple glaze over the top. When I do these, I usually do sets. So it should be 4 of each one of these. And this is purple, the variegated blue, and oatmeal. That turned out pretty nice. The speckle clay really shows up well. The speckle clay I like to use for people who, microwaving a lot. The porcelain works in the microwave, but not porcelain, it's 5/16, but if you heat it up unevenly, like a piece of steak or fish or something that you're preheating in a microwave, it'll make the center of the plate get hot and the edges are still cold. And I've had pieces crack using the white smooth clays like a porcelain 5/16 white clay. It's a stoneware, but I have had a few pieces crack like that because of uneven heating in a microwave. This clay 455 does not do that. So now we've got an assortment of jars. And there's how I fire them on stilts. That's the wrong lid for this piece. It must be this one. Yeah, let's get this off. They usually pop right off. It fits. Best 2 words in the English language. It fits. Nice little fluting there that shows up very well in the folk art white with the purple. We've got some yellow. The yellow is quite an intense color. But look how nice that looks with the green. And the the chattering, I hold it close for you there, is artisanpotterytools.com. So www.artisanpotterytools.com. Very nice. What other lids do we have? This is the glaze that's matte black with variegated blue and mouse gray in the bottom area, and then the matte black on top. This has been very popular recently. Usually the stilts pop right off. That one fits on that one. Does it fit on that one? Nope, so it is this one. And that's another of the same. These are like little jars for candy, not candy, yeah, candy, I guess, you know, cotton balls, sugar, whatever you want to use them for. And there's one more lid, and that must be the last one. So same jar again, variegated blue, mouse gray, and then matte black on top. And that's very nice. These turned out really good. Let's see, there's no other lids there at the moment. But Jackie's got a few pieces there, so I'll wait, we'll get the lids of these out soon. I'll just put them on here until we find the lids. These are all pretty nice. And this one turned out nice as well. Where are the lids? And then we got a nice matte turquoise, variegated blue, and oatmeal.
And now I'm going to take out some of the larger size cups. These are done with the B-mix clay. I'll turn it around. And they are painted with underglazes twice. Once before the bisque firing and once after the bisque firing, before being clear glazed. The reason I do it in 2 layers is so that the underglazes can remain separate without, as I rub color in, without being all kind of pushed together, without getting any distinct differences like between the reds and the greens. The idea is to get some of the color to sit in the crevices and other color to sit on top. So that's why I do it in 2 phases. And I also like to let color areas run into each other. So I'm not doing this in a sort of color between the lines, coloring book style. There's a more flow to the color because they blend into each other in areas and not in others. And last but not least, this is the motif is kind of beach grasses and a seashell. So this one is mostly in greens and a little bit of blue. Also with these, I used some underglaze color on the inside instead of leaving it white. This was kind of a very, very pale gray blue.
Okay, the next layer down, we got a couple of lids to finish with these, but which one is which? Well, that one fits on there. Oh, it's got variegated blue, so there's the one for that one. Or is it? Could be this one. So we've got 2 the same here, but it fits better on this one. So that's the purple with variegated blue and oatmeal on that one. And the lid's still. And that fits better on that one, so they're fitting really well, these lids. But look at the chattering that shows through with the purple. That's a good glaze for chattering. So once again, www.artisanpotterytools.com. And then we have a bunch of noodle bowls and regular bowls. Remember, I'm doing a big fundraiser for the LaHaye Firehouse. That'll be in September, I think. So I've made 75 of these bowls. So I'll give you a little sampling here. Bright blue, yellow, and green. Isn't that sweet? Nice bowl, happy bowl. So there should be 4 of each bowl. And there's the same one again in the same colors. And then we've got some purples with variegated blue and the matte purple. So there's going to be 4 of those. And then I've got the turquoise matte with my apple green, and there's some oatmeal across that too. These are gorgeous. This is the apple green. Look at the crystals going on in there. I do a slow cool firing cycle and that's looking great. So it would have basically variegated blue and oatmeal, and then the same on the inside. But these obviously just beautiful. So many glazes and so little time. There you go. Look at this one. Really pretty. Just a small soup bowl. And then we got another one of these. So I had 6 of these actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I obviously like that one. There's another one of the blue with the yellow. That turned out really nice. Apple green, my bright yellow and blue. And then 3 more purples. These are the same glaze. Matte purple. And then variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. Okay, next layer down we got some of different ones and a couple of the same. So here's the purple, folk art white, and oatmeal, and that is a nice combination. That's a lovely looking bowl. Makes me want to put cereal in it. Same again. The folk art white is just really pretty these days. I reduced the amount of iron ochre I was putting in it by half, and it looks nicer. Then we got more of these yellow with apple green, which with the blue inside it's making it pop. And then 2 more. The blue is just really makes that a nice combination. There you go. Dark blue, which is working nicer than it was. I actually added some stuff to it. Actually another glaze to the blue, and it's working really nice. Sometimes when you've got 2 glazes and they're not working very good, try mixing 50-50 of each one, or even 25-75, and you'll end up with a much better glaze with the mix of the 2. And then this one is oatmeal over mouse grey. Oatmeal over mouse grey. Same again, oatmeal over mouse grey. This is not my wife's favorite glaze, but look at the chattering again, really looking good. One more of those. The mouse grey really works good with chattering. That glaze will change quite a bit in the next, starting next week. I'm probably going to start using my gas kiln. It's warming up enough now. I'm spoiled. Electric kilns in the winter and gas outside in the summer. And one lid where there's a canister somewhere around here might be in the next set of firings. The last level down has no canisters, so I got a bunch of lids and no pots to put them in. So then we have some more trays on the bottom. But we've got more of the dark blue with the bright blue and the oatmeal. 2 more of those. Dark blue, bright blue, and oatmeal. Here's one we haven't seen. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal over the rim. And then on the outside we've got variegated blue, I think, over the black, and variegated blue on the bottom too. couple more folk art whites and variegated blue. No, folk art white, oatmeal, and the purple. Same again. Folk art white, purple, and oatmeal. This is another one, a little bit stuck on the kiln there, but it was just something on the kiln shelf a little bit, so I'll just sand it a little bit there. Oatmeal and mouse grey. Another dark blue, bright blue, and oatmeal. This was a refire with my matte black glaze. Just matte black on its own. And a few lids. So we'll see whether we find the jars to go with these. I don't always fire the lids with the jars, depends on if they fit. I'll let Jackie get the next one.
Okay, a few things in the bottom of the kiln here. I always make trays out of pieces of clay that are left over from cutting out larger shapes, sometimes when I'm doing the cups. And these are glazed. Let's see, there's the variegated blue, some of the greens. These are glazes, not underglazes. This one has the matte black staying in the deep crevices and etched lines, and Mary Jerk green and some of the blues staying up on the surface. Once again, I'm glazing these, then scraping off part of the glaze and re-adding so that I get glazes that sink into the carved areas. And another tray with fish. Looks like I've got the matte turquoise, variegated blue, purple, some of the greens along the edge. We're down to the very last shelf here, which just had some trays. These are glazed. There's the folk art white, and on top of that I think is maybe the mouse gray, or maybe it was the blue. I'm not really sure. This is another one with folk art white as the base coat, and then some of the greens and grays tapped in on the upper layers. Two very small trays. Once again, we do these just to use scraps of clay instead of having to recycle it, and so it's kind of fun. You can test out different glaze combinations, different textures, experiment with the stamping and that sort of thing. And they're very useful as soap dishes and places to put rings when you're doing a job and you don't want to get your rings lost. It's a larger one with a shell motif. I'm drawing the shell mostly with the roller and then applying stamped textures inside of the form. Very small trays. This one turned out nice. It has the folk art white as the first layer, and then there are the dark blue and the greens going into the deeper line areas. I think that turned out nice. And these are done, this one just with a variety of the different fish shaped stamps that I made. Different shaped fish with different kinds of patterns. And again.
Okay, the rest of the trays in here I glazed in the beginning video series that I've been doing, so these are what they resulted in, which I think turned out pretty nicely. It's matte black, variegated blue, and mouse gray, and with the texture showing up very well. So these are for, you know, adding to a display if you're a beginner potter. These will give you a variety of shapes and forms in your display to catch the eye, so it's not everything doesn't look the same. And these will pay your gas money getting to your little market or craft fair. If you sell these for $12, basically, you know, you may be able to get yourself to the craft fair just selling a handful of these, and they're fairly quick to make.